I mean, all this stuff, like I said, this is the original, you know, all this stuff right here, man. I just an avid collector for anything.
The original Breakin 1, 2.
Yeah.
This is like from 1980.
Whatever. Yeah. All this stuff I've accumulated over the years from.
And this is the original Breakin tape.
Yeah. Look at him. Even got the white one. You know what I mean? So all this stuff I've gotten over the years from like the swap meets. I'm a big. Oh, you can look at it. I'm a big avid collector on anything, especially being a big part of my history as far as b-boying. You know. So every time I go to. You know, we go to all the swap meets in LA, all the vintage stuff, and a lot of you know, just digging and being at the right place at the right time. I have a guy, you know, we were talking about thrashing and how we talked this original VHS. You know, actually having an event out there your way. Yeah, we're going to it. The cast and everybody's going to be there. Mm-hmm. And so I found a guy online that he makes custom makes. You know, look at that, the action figures and stuff like that. So I have quite a bit of boom boxes. You know, this is the JVC M70, and you saw that I found this at I don't know what swap meet, but you know, just thinking when I was a kid. And New York City Breakers, they were our idols, straight up idols. You know, obviously everybody knows about the battle at the Roxy and all that, but
let's show them the post.
Oh yeah. So not unbeknownst to me, I bought it and then I was like, okay, you know, whatever. I remember having this as a kid, but then how often are you going to find the original instructions in this condition that it has the poster and all the stuff, how to do, you know, the moves and whatnot, swipes and whatever. But the poster, bro, the legends, like, bro. I mean, they were our heroes, you know, and you know, rest in peace to a lot of them that passed away, like Little Lep and all that. But Icy Iceman, Glide Master, and Icy Iceman, them halos and, you know, just seeing them. And then actually, when we saw them, you know, when they came, when Caesar brought them out, for the Radiotron.
I was there.
So was I. You know, seeing Pex and Chino, and it was crazy, you know. I've always been one, though, man. Like, I'm not a big, I like to be in the background, like Eric, you know, like I was, you know, a hardcore B-boy, but I was just not, you know, what Tails was talking about, you know, the Droogies and Crazy Corey and all that stuff. I'm a little bit older than all of them. So they were all the ones talking about the history now going back, is they were the ones that would see us at all the parties, and they were younger. They're probably like 14, 15, 16 years old. Okay. And me being in my early 20s, you know, they looked up to me and my boy Marvin when we started Planet Rock. And eventually that all evolved when I founded the Ruben Compost Community Center in San Bernardino. Everybody that knows that was the spot. And so like some of the stuff, we'll go through it. But yeah, so we'll get onto that. But yeah, you know.
Okay, yeah, so let's look at some of this Droogies stuff.
All right. So let's start with this. Let me find, I got all these pictures, but the main one where I want to start was the Planet Rock Breaker ones.
Yeah, let's start.
So this right here was probably our earliest, I want to say this is like 93. And this was, originally we were called the Planet Rock Breakers. This right here was, this is me right here. This guy Youth from Moreno Valley. And these two guys, even though they look like gangsters, this guy is Bito and Renee, and they were from Fontana. And they were in a party crew called HOR, Hippies of Rave. And they were always at the, at the time, they were always at that Attitudes, the club Attitudes, and they were in a rave crew called Hippies of Rave from Fontana. And at first they were our rivals because Bito could kill it with flares. You know, back then you only had one move. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times, like the combos and all that was starting in his infancy, but he had great flares. Okay. And then Renee was known for like UFOs and frogs and turtles and all that stuff. And so we would always battle them, and but they were in a crew that wasn't B-boys. They were the only two B-boys in that crew. They were all ravers and techno dancers and stuff. So we were a B-boy crew, and so me, youth, and let me find Marvin, because Marvin is in here. Oh, here's Marvin right here. So that's Marvin. He actually did a lot of touring with Robbie. They went to Japan and stuff. So yeah, so Robbie. Later on, it was Robbie, Marvin, Cross. They all went to Japan and toured with Robbie for representing Street Smart.
Yeah.
That was later on. I want to say like '95 or whatever. But Marvin, me were the main heads for Planet Rock Breakers, and so that's that and this one. So these two, me and him, we formed Planet Rock. Right. So around 93, 94, we were kind of like getting known in the IE as like the, and we would hear about, if my memory don't, again, FBI Breakers, Goof Troop, Ethnic Nation, which I believe is EN Breakers. Okay. They're from like, I want to say the San Dimas era, and they would come out this way. Again, a lot of Filipinos and stuff like that we would see, but we would only see them at flyer parties. And there used to be a spot called in Colton, there was a club called Toontown, and FBI, they were I can't remember the guy's name, and me and Eric were talking about it. I want to say it was a Mexican guy or Filipino guy, and he had long hair, he always came in a ponytail, and they became like our rivals. And we met like through like Goof Troop and all, like they would come, but they would be parties. Like, let's say we showed up at a party, and then, obviously nobody was there, so we'd rock the circle, whatever. And then next thing you know, they would show up at a party, and then we would miss each other. And then so eventually everybody like, oh man, FBI and Planet Rock, they're going to battle and this and that. And we finally met up at a party in Colton, and they showed up deep, and we showed up deep, and we battled. And I believe there is a video, but mind you, this is 93, so they came with a camcorder, and obviously I don't remember their names or any, I just remember the one guy, because he was their main head. He ended up dancing with Robbie and them going to Japan with them. Right. And so like, so like around 94, we were just practicing at Marvin's house in Rialto, but in 94, I remember there used to be a community center here in San Bernardino, and it had the floors. So everybody's going to know the floors. Mm-hmm. So this right here, you can see the floors, and, so it was the perfect spot to dance. That was Ruben Compost Community Center. And we ended up, I went to go talk to Ruben, who ran the center, and he was like, yeah, you guys come and practice. So that became our spot. We weren't the Droogies yet. We were Planet Rock and a bunch of kids, neighborhood kids, San Bernardino kids, just from the IE. It was just Planet Rock. So like all the best dancers, all the best breakers would have access to the floor against the wall. And then everybody else, if you were new, you'd get put onto the carpet. Mm. And so anyways, like as we started going to more and more parties, and things started evolving, moving fast, we started hearing about like the other crews and stuff like that. And then when I told you about Eric, I met Eric in 94, and that opened up a whole new like chapter of B-boys that we never knew. And so like through Robbie and Eric and all them, we started connecting with a lot more of the LA scene and stuff like that. And so Robbie, I can't remember because Eric was telling me, but that's how we met Cross and all them started coming to the center in San Bernardino. The EN Breakers started coming. Everybody started coming to the Ruben Compost Center. And that's this right here. You could see like this is the one where everybody was at all through the 90s, from like 94 all the way to the 2000s. And then, the late 90s, I want to say the late 90s, that's when Circus Runways, they're from around here. And they were babies, they were kids. And they, as we were, I started kind of like retiring and fizzling out in like 98, 99, because for everything that it was, getting the recognition and, the legend, all that stuff that everybody talks about to this day, it wasn't paying the bills. Dancing, it sucks because we were trying to break through. Corey which everybody knows, Crazy Corey. He's a tall guy. He was able to get out to LA and audition for commercials, and he actually got a few commercials. He did like a Donkey Kong commercial for Nintendo, and he was the only one that was really getting paid for it, And so, so this whole thing, like in the 90s, this was the hub and the center, like where everybody went to practice. And there's so many amazing pictures. So if you look at this, look who that is. That's Tupac. And so this is the Droogs, right? So I'm going to get into that right now. So eventually what happened is my boy Marvin, he wanted to be he was becoming an aspiring rapper, and he was connected somehow. He's related to Ice-T, and so he was trying to do that. And he kind of branched out into trying to become an MC, and he's still, he's got a lot of. So what we ended up doing is my another guy, DJ Ludini. His name is Louis. Let me see. Me and him.
This in a photo.
Okay, so that's B-Boy Ruckus. Everybody knows that's Raul. He went by Ruckus. And everybody knows who Ruckus is. Everybody knows who Josh is. Very Juicy J. So when Tails was talking about, I can give you, when he was talking about Toilet Gush, I mean, we were the names. This is Ramon. Ramon's very successful now, but at the time, he went by. So after this is where I was going. So after Planet Rock it didn't really break up. It just kind of like we all went to the center, and so we would all go to the flyer parties together. Everybody, like it wasn't really like Planet Rock anymore. It was just kind of like all the San Bernardino boys, and this and that. So when we started really getting to like really forming stuff, right here, this is if you can see, it says BL. We formed originally another crew called Bustin' Loose. So when we kind of got away from Planet Rock, it was like Bustin' Loose with me, Corey, Josh, and Raul. And then Louis, he was our DJ. And we started, but that kind of really didn't go anywhere with it. So we, it was still the center. Like we were just still like, this picture was 95, I want to say, or 90. I can't remember. But so it started to like, just everybody would go there, everybody. And then, you know how that is with the whole scene, man, people will come and go, but the true like B-boys that were about that life were there at practice, because we had the center to ourselves every Tuesday and Thursday from like 5 to 8. So sometimes we'd be there on Tuesday and it would be jam-packed. Crossing, all those guys would come from San Diego, everybody, and we'd have a full-on, cypher, and it'd be dope. And then we'd have like a live DJ. Louis would come with all his techniques and set up, playing all the jams. And then some days it would just be normal, with a radio, with a boombox, and all, mixes that Louis would make for us. And then, so about 96, that's when we just started, you know what, man, we got to form a crew. If we're really going to try to do this, like we have to start, because we went to the Radiotron. Even when we went to the B-Boy Summit, the first one in San Diego, when the JBs and Rocksteady and all that. Well, I was right there in the front. Literally, you could hear I always look for myself in the video because I was right next to Eric, but I never seen myself. I wasn't like I went in certain, but I mean, they were way ahead of where we were, And so, like I said, Eric and all those, man, Eric was my mentor all these years and taught me so much about, and then I taught a lot of these guys, and then, they kind of, kept going with it because they're a lot younger than me, like I was telling you. Right. So around 96 is when we started to like really like form the Droogies. And
are you the founder of the Droogies?
Yeah. So like me, and then Corey, and like I said, they're all younger than me. And I was like, well, if we're gonna do it, then we need to kind of be organized, But taking off on what Teo said, they're crazy. Like everybody knows, like we would, like I was telling you, we go to the jams and we would just walk up in the front and like we didn't care. Like we really just didn't care. And the style that we that we would show up in, like the Capizio suits, and we would show up like this to a b-boy jam, you know what I mean? And people were like, who the fuck are they? Like, what are they doing, And like, we would just rock that shit and get in and get out, And so it was always, they're crazy and they're mysterious,
okay.
You know what I'm saying? And so like, go ahead.
I have a question. I want to tap into this. I just looked at it. I see a picture where Iron Monkey and Cujo. So tap into like Iron Monkey's affiliation to the Droogies.
Okay, so from what I gather, and also B-Boy Caveman, we went to a B-Boy jam. Again, it was a long time ago. I want to say 96. It was in Long Beach, and Caveman, he was a kid. He was a little kid. I want to say, I don't know, 14.
I think him and Iron Monkey at the time.
Yeah. So that was that time, and I had just like learned how to do halos, and all that stuff was like, whoa, and learning from Robbie and Eric, we'd go out there and we started getting recognized and stuff. And I remember Caveman was like, yo, you got to show me that, and that's before he did his signature move with his
Mexican jumping.
Yes, that was all before that, man. And we met them, and again, just the craziness of who we were. Sean, B-Boy Iron Monkey, like that, and so he actually came out here and lived with Corey. Corey at the time, he had a girlfriend, and they lived in North San Bernardino. He come, Sean was like a nomad, he fit with us because we were nomads. Like, we would just do crazy shit, and so like Sean came out here, and he stayed with Eric because, like I told you, Eric had a house in Colton. He had a back house, and then he had an apartment in the front, and on the bottom floor, it was all nice tile, like wood. And so that's where everybody was just sleep, spend the night, and practice. We practice 3 a.m, and we would go to like the Club Metro and all the different flyer parties. But I got video. I'm gonna find video. I got a lot of video of Sean. They're doing a lot of crazy. I don't know. We could put that on social media, but we got a lot of crazy things that
you have it, or somebody else?
I have it.
You have it on VHS?
Yeah, I have it on hard drive. I can send it to you. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Like, just I have to go through it because some of the stuff, is just not appropriate. Okay. But
you have stuff on a hard drive?
Yeah, I got everything. I put everything. I took all the cassettes. So how you and I were talking. At one time we had so much video, but through, unfortunately, some of the guys and their girlfriends. So one of the guys had all the videos, right? Mm-hmm. And him and his girl, they were always beefing. And so they separated. He left the whole box of VCR tapes there. And she junked them. Yeah. And that was our whole archive. Yeah. And so we had so much video that never, I'm going to try, because I am the gatekeeper with everything. A lot of these pictures are from Corey, Raul, all the different guys, and they knew that they're trusted in me to like hold on to it because, they've just everybody's just kind of gone. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, life happens, and not everybody's doing good and whatnot. That's just life, Mm-hmm. But I cast no judgment on anybody. But I have, all this as memorabilia of a time that it was never captured, know? And so we, there's a lot of history. So going back, we formed, I want to say like in 96, and then 97, we were rocking, going all the Radiotrons, we met, we seen, we're all, everything, all the stuff that the battles with Ivan and all that stuff, like we seen all that, going back to Sean and Caveman. So Sean, he was like, bro, like, you guys are crazy, so he ended up just rocking with us for like, I want to say probably 2 years. Yeah. I mean, you can see that picture. I don't have that one.
And this is before he was even down with Soul Swift.
Yeah. Whatever, 96, 97, I might be a little bit year off, or 97, 98. And I don't know, because as we were really beginning to peak, I was like, dude, like, this is just not working, like getting the notoriety and all the stuff. It's all good, but mind you, at that time I was about 24. Yeah, I was about 24, and everybody was just nomads. And I was like, dude, like this just not, it's not paying the bill. And Eric and all them, they worked and, and I was like, dude, I got to get a job. So, I was at, going to community college, and so I was kind of not like I was there, but I was also kind of like, all right, I got to kind of like do this thing, So when I was going to Valley College, I applied at UPS and I got hired on. So that's when they really started going at it because there's a lot of pictures. They were going, I don't know what jam, that's when they met. They started meeting all the guys, from is Soul Control up north. Control. Yeah, and so this was that I want to say in Arizona. That these pictures are from that.
That looks like Lords of the Floor.
Yeah, Lords of the Floor. That's what it is. That's Lords of the Floor, and I want to say that's Lords of the Floor. That's Lords of the Floor.
Yeah.
There's quite a bit. I don't know. I mean, you might be able to because I wasn't there. I was already, that has to be Lords of the Floor 98? Is that when it was?
Actually, Lords, the first one was in 2000.
Okay, yeah. That I was already out of the scene. So all those right there, those are all from Corey.
Yeah.
These are all from...
this Lords of the Floor, this is when El Nino and
yes.
KML won Lords of the Floor.
Yeah, so they went to that. The Droogs went to that. But I was already like out of the scene.
I can name the picture. That's Swift. That's Eric. That's Cujo. And can't really see who it is, but that's K-Mel.
Yeah.
That's Pookie, which they call him El Nino.
Yeah. So these guys, everything about them, I already knew about them, but I was already kind of like phasing out. So all these pictures are from Corey, and unfortunately with Corey, he's fallen on hard times, but that's neither here nor there. This is everybody. Let me find a good picture. Everybody will know Corey. Everybody knows Corey like that. That's Corey.
Which one's Corey?
On the left. That's me on the right. That's at Club Metro. But
that's your hair?
Yeah, one of the. I mean, I'm telling you, we just know the curly hair is Corey.
Oh, okay.
That's Corey. That's me. And so everybody knows Corey as So that's at Club Metro. This is at when we did the B-Boy show with Cypress Hill. There's Ruckus. There's Be Real. Obviously, that's Eric right there, B-Boy Eric. There's Josh, Juicy J, and that's Son Doobie, and that's me right there.
Oh, Son Doobie.
Yeah, Funk Dubious. Yeah. So this is Josh. Yep. So this is Louis right here, DJ Ludini. He was a really good B-boy. Yeah. And then that's his brother Josh, who Tails talked about. These guys are legends in their own. Yeah. And let me see what else we got here. There's so many.
I want to know if you can. This is going to be like a special segment. If you can grab your glasses. If we can do this roll call, because I want to show this. This is Radiotron.
95.
Yeah, 95.
You want me to read out the
just read out the USA name. So in 95.
All right, in 95 we had on the USA they had Air Force, Shake City, LA Breakers, Rocksteady, Dynamic Wizards, the Renegades, B-Boy Alliance, I can't say. Jughead Tribe, Goof Troop Breakers, Rock Force, Sunflower Breakers, Ethnic Nation, Delivery Boys, Jedi Clan, Code, even for my eyes, I can't, Codes, Floor Control, Lunacy Crew, is that what it is?
Lunacy Crew.
Yeah. Los Feliz Breakers, Planet Rock Breakers, 101 Breakers, Play School Society, 314 Crew, Magic Touch, 2 Hype, Bam Tribe, maybe?
Bam Tribe?
Yeah, DJS, I don't know, Nonfiction Breakers, Animation, Upside Down Breakers, Funky Unit, Emir Illusions, Street Smart Breakers, that might have been Robbie and them at that time, Street Smart, Master Society, Floor Rockers, Electric Rock, LT Crew, Ground Force, New Empire Breakers, Furious Jam Crew, Tribal Soul, West Coast Rocksteady, Body Force, United by Style, Too Dope, Oblivion, Body Force. There goes FBI Breakers that I was telling you about. Physical, Freestyle, Smurf Rock, Dark Side, DNC, Floor Rockers, Rivals. I want to say BIS.
BIS Boys and Style.
Yeah. Soul Swift Breakers, Bound Tribe, Unique Rock, Master Movement, Busting Loose. That was us right there. And Little Planets and MCB. And then they have Europe, Japan, Hawaii, and Africa. And so that, I don't know if you, this is from 95.
I missed that Radiotron. I remember Ivan showed up, bro, and he did a bunch of backflips. And he did like crazy halos, and everybody went crazy, bro. And from my understanding, Easy Rock was on one side and Ivan was on one side, and they kind of wanted to see them two go at it. That's what was the price? You said $300.
$300 right there. $300. Right
$300.
And I have other, like I told you, I have the freestyle, some of the original freestyle. So here's another good picture of the Droogs. Like, everybody will remember that.
So the Droogs, was that kind of like a short version of saying you guys' names?
Yeah, the Droogs. Yeah.